Hello and welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about Manchester City's and England's Jack Grealish. Before we do that, as always, we need to do some shout-outs and read some messages, so let's get on with it. The first one is from 7-year-old Quinn and 5-year-old Senan Cunningham. It says, "Hi Darren, we have listened to all of your podcasts many times, especially when we're in the car with our mum and dad. Thank you so much for making them because it means we don't always have to listen to the news on the radio." Oh, that sounds boring. Oh, boring old news. We would love to hear a Jack Grealish one and also Zinedine Zidane. We play with Roundwood AFC in Wicklow, Ireland. And I, Quinn, support Liverpool and Senan, Man United. We practice our skills every day. Well, thank you very much for your message. Thank you for being a listener. And look at that, your shout out has landed on a Jack Grealish episode. Perfect. Well, I hope that you enjoy this episode and I hope that you are really enjoying your football. And the next one says, "Hello. We are listening to your podcast because we love our football. Our names are Juliet and Joe Mitchley, and we both play for Raiders team in Hertfordshire and support the greatest team, Arsenal. We love the episode on Bukayo Saka because he's our favourite Arsenal player. Please can you do an episode on Beth Mead and maybe a part 2 on Saka? We really hope you read this out as we've been listening from the start and told our friends about the podcast." And that's from Juliet and Joe Mitchley, aged 10 and 8. Well, thank you very much for listening to the podcast, you two, and thank you for your message. I'm glad you liked the episode on Saka, and I have got Beth Mead on my list. And we will do a part 2 on Saka, but not anytime soon because we need to let him have some more game time. And the next one reads, "Hi Darren, my name's Archie Luffman. I'm 5 years old and I'm from Cowbridge in Wales and play for Cowbridge Town under 6s. Can you do an episode about Matt Le Tissier, as I'm a huge Southampton fan and England fan, as I take after my daddy Richard, who's from there. I know you're a Pompey fan, but we still really like you and your shows as we listen every week." Thanks very much, Archie. I'm glad that you still like me, even though I'm a Pompey fan. In all seriousness, thank you for being a listener and thank you for your request. As always, I've stuck your request on the list and I hope that you enjoy this one. And the last shout out on this episode goes to a couple of listeners in Texas, America. A big shout out goes to Caleb, who is 10 years old, and Ellie, who is 6 years old. They both play for FC Dallas. Well, thank you both for being listeners, and a big hello to everyone in your football team across the pond. If you would like to send a message to shout out to your football team or football teammates, send a request in or whatever it is, you can ask an adult to send an email to footballforkidspodcast@gmail.com. Right then, let's get into this episode about Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish was born and raised in Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Grealish was born with football in his blood, as his great-great-granddad, his granddad Billy, was also a footballer, and he played for England and he played for Aston Villa, 2 teams which Grealish would go on to play for. How about that? Jack joined the Aston Villa youth team at the young age of 6 years old and spent many years in the Aston Villa Youth Academy. In 2012, Jack Grealish played for the Aston Villa under-19s team in a tournament called Next Gen. This was a tournament where teams all across Europe played each other to be crowned the Next Gen winners. In the semi-final, Aston Villa played Sporting Lisbon, which is a Portuguese team that Cristiano Ronaldo played for. Jack Grealish scored in extra time to send Villa through to the final against the Chelsea under-19s team, and Aston Villa beat Chelsea to win the tournament. At just 16 years old, Jack Grealish was picked for a Premier League game as a substitute, but never got the opportunity to come on. But the fact that he was picked at 16 years old showed how much belief that the club had in him and that they were willing to play him if needed. Whilst at Aston Villa, Grealish spent some time on loan at Notts County. Going on loan to other clubs is a very common thing for up-and-coming footballers. It gave Jack some great game time, and in the short period he was there, he scored 5 goals and made 7 assists. In 2015, Jack Grealish was back playing at Aston Villa, and he scored his first goal for the senior team against Leicester. And what a goal it was. 20 yards out, Grealish had a look at the ball, looked up, and boom! He sent the ball smashing into the back of the net. 3 days after his 20th birthday. What a belated birthday present. A little fact to finish off Jack Grealish's career at Aston Villa is in the 2020-2021 season, Jack Grealish was fouled 167 times. It's the most fouls ever recorded on one player in a Premier League season ever. Oof, that must have hurt. In the summer of 2021, Manchester City announced their new signing. Their new signing, which cost them £100 million, Jack Grealish. Manchester City announced that they'd paid £100 million for Grealish, and they had him signed on a contract which keeps him with the club all the way to 2027. Grealish is now a part of a top team in Manchester City, and he has already won the Premier League with them. He's played numerous games, scored some great goals, and very importantly, got some decent assists in. Some of Jack Grealish's family are Irish, and Jack actually started out his international football career playing for the Republic of Ireland. Jack played for Ireland in the under-17s team, the under-18s team, and the under-21s team. When he played for the under-21s, he was awarded the under-21s Player of the Year for Ireland. And after playing 26 games for Ireland, he made his debut in 2016 for the England under-21s team. Grealish went on to make the squad for the England men's senior team in the Euro 2020 competition, which England made it to the final in. So far, he has played 29 games for England and scored 2 goals. One was against Andorra in a 2022 World Cup qualifier, and the other was in the opening game of the World Cup against Iran, when England won 6-2. At just 27 years old, Jack Grealish has a good few years of football left in him at the top level, and most likely a couple of major competitions as well. So I'm sure in a couple of years' time we'll have to do a part 2 on the story of Jack Grealish. Hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about his story so far. And remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitchside, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.